Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas, and today's Wide Angle with Ashok Vyas is someone whose range of embracing life is quite wide. And when I say quite wide, then I introduce you to someone who may be described as a spiritual artist. But before coming to art at the age 54, the gentleman did his MBA in marketing at a premier institute in America and has served in the corporate world with dedication, efficiency, has been successful on that front. But what makes him even more interesting is his ability to weave different channels of life, including spiritual understanding and appreciation of life, and his artistic expression is amazing. So let me take this opportunity of welcoming someone. If you are meeting him in the corporate world, probably you would know him as Nayan Kisnadwala, but as an artist, he and as given the name by his guru Ma, he's Nayan Mitra. So Mitra Nayan, welcome. Namaste.
Thank you.
So, Naini, I always find it fascinating how human beings evolve into what they become, and there are few things which we bring with us from previous birth or whatever, but few things are related to exposure. But as a child, when you were looking at life, what were you thinking? Like what you wanted to do?
Very frankly, as a child, I was a very happy-go-lucky child. I was in my own world. Very happy childhood. I was the youngest of three siblings. Being the youngest, my parents absolutely left me alone, and I was very playful, very joyful all the time. Always brought laughter to everyone around me at home, at school, and never even thought about, what I was going to be or become. But two things I loved growing up. One was art. The other was numbers. And I was very good in math, stats, sciences, and I was very good in art. And everything else, special languages, was in the middle. And as you grow up, art is not a career in India, when I graduated. And so being from a family of chartered accountants in Mumbai, I naturally became a chartered accountant. And then followed my dreams into US, did my MBA in finance from Stern Business School, and then set up on my banking career. As you mentioned, at age 54, I was literally walking in central London past an art store.
Allow me to interrupt you.
Sure.
Allow me to interrupt you.
Sure.
Because before coming to your avatara as an artist, I want to learn more about your way of absorbing certain lessons from life till 54. When you do MBA in finance from Stern Business, or you were a chartered accountant, which is also very difficult in India. So wasn't that completely satisfying? If I must tell you, in India even now, if someone becomes chartered accountant, they say my life is set, I'm done. That kind of thing was not there in your mind. So there was something more that you were craving for. What was it like?
So, people come to West for material gains. I believe I came to the West, especially to New York, to find my spiritual teacher, Guru Ma. As I settled down in New York, I asked all the neighbors who were of Indian heritage, saying, what is the nearest temple? And Hanuman temple was just being founded by Guru Ma at that point of time, and I visited, and we had the natural connection. Within a couple of years, I became a trustee, and then a few years later, I became a Shishya. But going back to your initial introduction, I always compartmentalize my life as my work life, very, very aggressive, because as a immigrant, you want to be successful and fight against, everything. As a family man, I had a wife and I had a daughter, and I wanted to ensure that I have a balanced family life. And as a spiritual person, I always had quest for spiritual growth. I wouldn't say religious growth, but spiritual growth. And I was very lucky to find Guru Ma. And I started learning the lessons of life from Guru Ma, which translated into everything else I did in my life. But I had always compartmentalized my life between three: work life, family life, spiritual life. At around 50, probably around 50, when I realized...
Okay, here's a question. When
Yeah.
you say compartmentalized, I want to understand, is it appropriate way of, maybe for understanding it is fine, but your spiritual understanding of life percolates or it flows in whatever you do.
Exactly, and that eventually I understood that, because I tried to keep them different and separate from each other. I didn't allow myself to be a true myself at work. And I realized that there was artificial barriers between my spiritual life and work life, and eventually it became one. And I began to express myself at work, being a spiritual person, and yet wanted to be successful at the same time. And there's absolutely, you can be spiritual, you can be be a good human being, and be a successful executive at the same time.
Yeah. So
it's not one or the other.
Absolutely.
And I learned it at a little bit late stage in my life, but now I'm very happy and content with how I conduct myself at work, because it's married with my spiritual life too now.
So let us decode these words as per your understanding and experience. So when we say spirituality, though we are using the same word, but we are understanding different meaning based on our own understanding. So as per your clarity in terms of what is it that you would refer to as spiritual side of life and how to grow in that.
I think spiritual life is all about ensuring we the three principles which Guru Maharaj taught me are love, faith, and truth, and we have to kind of express that in everything you do. And she would tell me that, listen, there's a God in everyone, there's a God in you. You may worship Hanuman, you may worship Krishna, but there's a God in everyone, there's a God in you. And if you want to really connect with the other person, try to understand all the good that person has, the Ram in him, and forget about the Ravan in him. And try to bring the best of the Ram in him. And that's what I do at work. Try to bring the strengths of everyone who works around me, and try to understand the development needs and try to develop them, rather than make them a central critique of that person. And that's allows me to become successful, allows me to have good people around me at all the time. The other thing is all about positivity. It's all about optimism. I always say we don't have problems in life. We have challenges in life. We have obstacles in life, and it's all about how we face them, how we solve them is more important. When you pray, you want to pray that not that you don't have obstacles, is that if you have obstacles, you're going to resolve them with strength and with courage. And that's how I conduct myself at work. That's how I conduct myself at the temple or in my personal life. And so I think that's all connected in a way.
So, Nayan, let me try and understand the significance of Guru-Shishya relationship as per your own experience. Because you said she taught you love, faith, and what was the third?
Truth.
Truth. So, these are just the words if anybody can say to anybody. But when you got it from Guru Ma, there is some different dynamics which is at play here in communication from her to you. Your understanding of this relationship with Guru.
So I think there's a connection, and it has to be deeply rooted in faith. And I had that connection from even before I became a Shishya. We just kind of hit it. I just connected with her, and hopefully the same way she connected with me. And it was a connection. I'll give you a few examples. When she was traveling in India, once I was really sick in New York, and I just said to myself, I wish Guru Ma was here, because she's a healer too. Guess what happened? Next second she called from India. Next second. because that connection was there, that telepathic connection was there. And the moment I, with faith, remembered her, she called from India, next second saying, Bete Ram, kya hua tujhe? And she started healing me on the phone. And within 2-3 days, I was fine. And that's the connection. It's based on deep faith and learning. It's not learning in a classroom environment. It's learning from just observing her, how she conducts herself in life, how she does puja, how does she meditation, how she does pravachans, how does she conduct herself while being so sick with her cardiac issues, and yet being so strong and courageous, and so on and so forth. Besides spiritual growth, she also taught me how to be a good, happy human being, how to conduct myself as a husband, as a father, as a brother, as a son, and even at work. And so it's all eventually coming together. And I think it's coming together for me after 50.
So, talking about the sense of togetherness and harmony and clarity, and while you have studied at Stern Business School or as the other experiences you had, many people sometimes have inner reservations to have the kind of connection with Hanuman Chalisa, or as we speak these days at Vedic Heritage, there is a 40 days Ram Charitmanas part. So there are several events which in a subtle way derives home the point related to significance of relating to scriptures and the role that they play in intensifying your devotion. So your personal experience on maybe chanting Hanuman Chalisa or studying scriptures.
So for me, it's understanding that the scriptures which have been written hundreds and hundreds of years ago have been chanted by millions and millions of times, creates positive vibrations, creates positive energy. So many times, even when I don't understand the meaning of a mantra or a chant, or reading Ramcharitamanas in a different language which I don't understand, what Guruma has taught us is that when you read it with the right pronunciation and do with the right faith, then it creates positive energy around you. It creates positive aura around you. It's Hanuman Chalisa creates positive energy around you and protects you. Sankat Mochan, protects you from obstacles. Bajrang Ban, protects you from your enemies, and so on and so forth. And it's even if you don't understand the meaning, the chanting creates positive energy and creates positive auras around you. And that's what Guruma has taught me, and I absolutely believe in it. Whenever I have anxiety or I have challenges or I'm tension, I just close my eyes, breathe deeply, think of Guruma, visualize her in my mind, and chant Hanuman Chalisa or any Hanuman mantra, and the solution comes to me, and I become calm. And it's the belief, it's the faith, and the importance of positive vibrations, I think, is key. I'm not a PhD in any of the scriptures, for example. I don't understand the languages either. I've never studied Sanskrit. I want to. It's on my to-do list for the future. But it's about the deep faith that chanting mantras creates positive vibrations.
Absolutely.
That's
and
the key.
I think some of our viewers would also find that the way they perceive is strengthened by listening to you. And now let us briefly go towards the corporate world or your work setting. And sometimes you keep them separate because you feel that if you'll be so honest and truthful, maybe it won't work in the business setting. Sometimes you feel that people are scheming. I don't know about your personal, I'm just saying based on the general. So you want to wear different kind of mindset while interacting with people so that you are not brushed on the wrong side, etc. So this is just one way of describing it. Talk to me about your own experience where you found that the spiritual clarity or understanding is getting merged with whatever demands your function have.
Yeah. So even at work, I bring my spiritual self, and I'm very transparent about it. When you come to my office, you'll be greeted by a Ganesh and a Hanuman and photo of Guruma. Every office I've been, and that remains the foundation, because that gives me the values with which I'm going to conduct myself as a business person, and it's the values which count, and it's the trust you create, it's the faith you create in the people in your leadership, it's the truth or values with which, or integrity with which you conduct yourself. And I think there was no reason for me to separate my spiritual world and the business world. And spiritual doesn't mean you're going to be passive. Spiritual doesn't mean you're going to be always on the defensive, or you're always going to take hits. Spiritual means you'll be facing every obstacle with courage and be on the forefront, on the front foot, and be proactive. And that's all leadership about. And so I'm very obviously a spiritual person, even at work, and everyone around me recognizes that. Everyone knows that on Tuesday I'm going to be a bit late because I chant Hanuman Chalisa, 108 Hanuman Chalisa part. So I start my day at 10 a.m., not 9 a.m. And I'm transparent about it. Everyone knows that certain holidays I'm out. For Guru Purnima, I'm out, and no one disturbs me. Because so it becomes one life, and it doesn't matter in my company. Actually, I was telling you, I'm the CEO of JBR Capital, which really lends money for high-priced cars. So I label myself as the monk who sells Ferraris rather than or funds Ferraris. It's absolutely transparently leading myself as a spiritual person. And we have such diversity in our workforce. We have every religion in the world in our company, of all ages, of different genders, all genders. And in the last year and a half, particularly after I joined JBR Capital, with the pandemic ongoing, we focus a lot on mental wellness and well-being, and we promoted meditation.
Wonderful. Let us look at meditative artistic flow expressed through you, and it is amazing. As I was mentioning earlier, at 54 he picked up, or rather picked up again, as it was a part of you while you were a child. And these are wonderful paintings, and we'll probably share some images. But talk to me about this journey and how it makes you feel when you paint. And allow me to also add, there are some paintings which have very fine symmetrical, mathematical, geometrical sort of design with them. So overall, your relationship with colors and...
So I call myself a spiritual artist. What I do is I try to take symbols from all the scriptures of all the religions, or even pre-religion, pagan symbols. I take color therapy, and I take sacred geometry and numerology, and combine all that into my paintings. And when I'm painting, I'm absolutely in the zone. When I'm in the zone, it doesn't matter. And when I start a painting, I start with a blank piece of canvas. I have no clue what I'm going to do. I just do it. And I express myself on the canvas, or on a piece of paper with colors, basically. And I have some guiding principles to do it. And I always tell everyone who wants to do art, there's no right or wrong. Just do it.
It is easier said than done, Nayan. And some of your paintings are so intricate, and they radiate a sense of joy and beauty and harmony. So while you are doing it and becoming a medium of, as you said, it is not very pre-planned sort of expression. So what is happening to you inside?
So usually I'm chanting Hanuman Chalisa while I'm painting, or I'm listening to either Pandit Jasraj or Ratan Mohan Sharma with Hanuman chants while I'm painting. And most of the paintings are in the early mornings, which I believe is the best time to get positive vibrations from Mother Nature.
Although early morning reminds me that you get up early every day around 4 a.m. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I start my day at 4 a.m. every day, even on weekends, even on holidays, to the dismay of my family.
How this started? Long ago or
Long
recent?
ago, ever since I was a student, young age, I always preferred studying in the morning and doing all the good things in the morning. So it's been a natural habit for me, even in my youth. So I never liked late nights. So
And you also love nature.
absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about how it helps you in sustaining a sense of calmness or having these kind of fresh, inspiring, positive ideas.
So I think I began admiring nature more after the pandemic. When we were locked down, stuck at home, or the only exercise we could do is go in the park early in the morning with social distancing rules in place, etc. I realized how important nature was in sustaining yourself, and I realized the importance of mindfulness, enjoying that fresh sprout of green in spring, the fresh burst of colors in summer, the changing of colors in fall, and then the falling of leaves in winter. And in the hustle bustle of life, when you're just commuting back and forth to work, I realized that I was not admiring nature as much as I should. We are blessed to be surrounded by amazing nature wherever we are. It doesn't matter where you are. Even in a city, if you look up the sky, you'll see nature and the amazing formation of clouds. And the pandemic allowed me to admire nature a bit more and understand the beauty of nature a bit more, and also realize that there's sacred geometry in every piece of nature. You see a bloom, it's perfect. And either it's a 5 or 6 or a 12. Count the petals and count the perfect symmetry in a flower, and that's sacred geometry in nature too. Look up the sun and look at the auras around the sun. It's absolutely amazing. So the pandemic allowed me to admire nature more and reflect on how lucky we are, and I'm so proud that my daughter has decided to be carbon neutral in her business as she started her new business, and I hope we all recognize nature and become more carbon neutral.
So, as you were mentioning, our viewers also got the opportunity of appreciating some of your paintings. And as we move towards the concluding part of our conversation, we'll go to past and then we'll go to the future and then we'll come back to present. So, past so far, what would you say has been the most significant moment in your life? Call it moment which, when you think of, brings a sense of joy and beauty.
So there are two moments I'm going to say. I know you asked for one, but
You're generous. Thank you.
recently I lost my mother in March, and when I look back at my life, at my mom's life, one fine morning when I was about 21, she's never asked me to do anything. Okay, but one fine morning I was coming for my interview at the U.S. consulate for my student visa, and she woke up early in the morning, said, "Nayan, read this mantra before you go to the visa." That's the first time she ever told me to read the mantra, and that she had become my guru by giving me a mantra, and I chanted the mantra, and without any papers I got my visa, which has changed my life. That's my mother, my biological mother, chanting a mantra, asking me to chant the mantra, which changed my life. The second moment,
if it is not secret, can you share that mantra?
It was Gayatri mantra.
Okay, good.
The second was when Guru Ma made me her disciple. That has absolutely changed my life. And she chanted, which I cannot share with you because she chanted a secret mantra in my ear, which I chant every morning, and I do my mala with Guru mantra. And that was the second one. Again, Guru Ma, a mother, chanting a secret mantra to initiate me as her disciple, which has completely changed my life. And I say I came to America for material gains, but what I really found was a spiritual teacher, and which has changed my life.
Beautiful. And now that your life's changed, when you look at the future, any particular dream that you would like to realize?
So I want to become a foremost artist. Then everything I want to do, I want to promote my art and learn more art. I want to go to about 4 or 5 teachers I want to learn from, and then assimilate some of the traditional forms of art into my contemporary spiritual art.
Wonderful.
So that's something I like to do in the next 10 years.
So we feel that you would succeed in wherever you set your mind, your eyes on, and it has been incredible learning about different dimensions of Nayan Kisnadwala, Nayan Mitra ji's life, a spiritual artist as well as CEO of JBR Capital. So thank you very much for taking time and talking to us with lots of good wishes.
Thank you, Ashokji. Thank you.
That was Nayan Mitraji, and this is Ashok Vyas thanking you with lots of good wishes.
Thank
Namaste.
you.